Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reacting to this video. The name My Twin Sister is Better Than Me.
Don't get me wrong, I love my sister. We're twins, and there is a special connection between us.
But you shouldn't hate your sister or be jealous of her. Just remember that, alright you guys? Alright, let's just watch this
She
video.
annoys the hell out of me. I'm super jealous of her, and I don't know how to handle it any longer. You see, we aren't identical twins, just regular old twins. So that means that though we kind of look similar, some stuff is different, and that makes her so much better than me. I'm not saying I'm ugly or anything of the sort, but Emma is hot as hell. She's so good looking. Her body is so much better than mine, and she even has a smaller nose than I do. It's so annoying that she gets the best part of everything, you know? But before we move on, like this video, hit that subscribe. She's that much prettier and so confident. She has lots of friends at school and is super popular. She is head of the cheer squad and can be a bit of a mean girl if I have to be honest, though she is very loving and sweet toward me. She's so irresponsible sometimes that it seems she completely disregards my feelings. I have always been so jealous of everything she has that I don't, and even my parents seem to like her better. And no, that's probably not true, and it's just my insecurity playing tricks on me, but I still can't take that feeling off my shoulders. We love you both the same, Ava darling, my mom reassures me and hugs me tightly. You're both our princesses. How could we play favorites? My dad always added, but I still felt the same way as I always did. Emma had it all. As we grew up, she always wore the prettiest dresses, and since her hair was so smooth, it always looked so tidy and pretty. I usually tied my hair in a simple ponytail because it was usually pretty messy. It was easier to just throw it back and put a scrunchie around it, you know? She was always picked up first during sports class because she was super athletic. I felt so left out. I hated ending up on the other team. She usually won, and that meant she got to make her victory dance, which was super annoying and made me so mad at her. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a bit insecure for that, which makes our relationship super complicated. Since we're twins, we were born on the very same day and celebrate our birthday together. Maybe I'm crazy, but I always felt like she was getting better gifts than I did, every single year. At school, Emma would pick up new subjects so quickly. You wouldn't believe it. She had to study so little, and the homework took her almost no work at all. She just did it in a half an hour or something and had the rest of the day left to chat with her friends and practice her routines for the squad. I usually did well at school, but I did struggle with a few subjects. And Emma wouldn't help me with studying, making up excuses unless I asked it the way that she wanted me to. I always had to say, "Pretty please," with a cherry on top. "Would the best sister in the world help me?" Yeah, those were the exact words. It was super annoying. She liked to mess with me, you know, and I would rather study harder all on my own than have to admit that she was so much better and let her gloat. Now, things began to really get worse when we entered high school. Emma was so used to getting everything she wanted that she didn't care who got hurt in the process. She did feel bad afterward when it came to me. But the thing is, she still did it. First enjoy, then feel guilt, you know? So this guy, Kevin, began flirting with me one day. I thought he was the cutest guy ever, and I loved hanging out with him. We went out for a date and had the best time ever. We even ended up kissing. I felt like I could end up eventually falling in love with him. That was until Kevin met my sister, Emma. When we went back home, I confronted her, super angry about what she had done. "You knew I liked Kevin. Why would you flirt with him that way?" I snapped, shaking my head in disappointment. "You know I flirt with everyone, so don't take it seriously, silly. I'm completely to hang out with you," I replied to her. But I try never, ever to introduce any of the guys I like to her, just in case it happens again. Also, Emma got to date the high school's cutest guy. He was the captain of the football squad and every single girl wanted to be with him. So naturally, it was my sister who got him. That didn't mean that she didn't continue to flirt innocently with other guys, simply to get their attention and continue being super popular. It also helped that she was super hot and worked out all the time. This gave her a kicking body, and she posted an insane amount of photos to IG. This made her a fairly popular IG model. And of course, that meant she always had more money to spare than I did. Talk about something else in which she was so much better than me. All of this might seem super silly, but my sister's irresponsible behavior goes way beyond just flirting and being kind of mean. You see, for our 16th birthday, my parents decided to give each of us our own cars. Yeah, super generous. My parents are awesome, and I love them a whole lot, even if I feel like I'm not their favorite. Anyways, it didn't take Emma even 3 months to get into a car accident, and her vehicle was absolutely wrecked. My parents were super mad at her and refused to let her drive for over a month. But after that happened, they decided to give her a second chance. The thing is, they didn't feel she deserved a second car, so they cut a deal with my sister. You can drive Ava's car, but only when she's not using it. So you better be extra nice to your sister, or you'll be taking the bus every day. During this time, the truth was Emma was so much nicer toward me, and I liked getting along with her better. Plus, I didn't want her to miss out just because I was the one who still had the car. So I planned out a schedule. We both had certain times we could use the car, and even though I did get to use it a bit more because it wasn't my car to begin with, I was pretty fair about it. Now, during a few months, this worked perfectly. She was super nice towards me and we were getting along well. She even helped me get dressed for a date with a guy I liked. My sister is super good at fashion, so she had me looking amazing. But one night, believe it or not, she called me all of a sudden during her turn to use the car. I could tell she was crying, and I got super worried immediately. Emma, what's going on? Me, she pleaded, but I could tell she was using her fake, sad voice straight away. I asked what was really going on, and with a sigh, she admitted that she had been drinking and wrecked my car. She was fine, but the car was not. She wanted me to help her talk to Mom and Dad so they wouldn't be super mad at her. Oh, you can't believe how many bad names I called her that night. I was so mad, more than ever before. You are so selfish and cruel. It was my car, and you didn't even care. And now you want me to cover for you with Mom and Dad? Why aren't you concerned about me and my feelings? I asked, really mad. She seemed annoyed that I was mad at her and hung up on me. She then called Mom and Dad and tried to play the innocent, scared girl with them. It worked, but they were still super cross with her, believe me. I couldn't understand how she could be so incredibly reckless and mean toward me. I tried so hard to be nice to her, and even lent her my car more than I should have, and that was the way that she repaid me. This meant that we both had to catch rides for friends or take the bus, and it was really annoying. It was all her fault, and I was the one who was suffering because of her irresponsible behavior. The worst part was that when I complained to my parents about it, they actually decided to get us a new car, but one for both of us. We had to share it, and I was so mad about this fact. I mean, can you believe it? She was the one messing up with our cars. She was the one who wrecked 2 vehicles, and I got to use this new car as much as she did. When I told them how unfair it was, you know what they replied? Try and be more understanding. She's your sister, and you shouldn't be competing with her all the time. Yes, they actually said that. I was shocked. My sister didn't feel bad about anything she had done, and that annoyed me even further. I haven't been speaking to my sister too much in these past few weeks, and I don't think our relationship will improve unless she learns to apologize. Thank you for watching. Have you ever dealt with a sister?
I lost my temper.
Alright, you guys, well, that's it for this video. Well, no, I'm just kidding. We're gonna watch another video. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you that we're watching 3 videos today. So, yeah.
My name ruined my life. It's cursed. As I was drinking my cup of coffee and looking at my future husband entering the coffee shop, my phone beeped. I got a message from an unknown number that said, "Sorry to hear the news. I guess now you know how I felt 2 years ago." I was shocked to see such a message and wondered what it meant. I directly replied to that number to ask who it was, yet there was no answer. Now before I continue with my drama, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to our channel. His smile was fake and his eyes were puffed up as if he cried all night. I asked him if everything was okay, yet he was silent. After a few moments of silence, he looked at me and said, We need to talk. That serious look on his face made every ounce of my body shiver. He said with a frown on his face, I want to cancel our wedding.
Sorry, guys. I have to part that part because that was too, dramatic for you guys.
My ex was sitting there with another girl. They were chatting and laughing, and I felt pain in my chest. I wanted to go and scream at his face. Immediately got up.
You guys, we're gonna watch this.
As soon as I opened our front
We're gonna watch this one because that was too dramatic for you guys. Sorry about that.
door, the smell of freshly baked bread and cinnamon filled my nostrils. I kicked off my shoes and ran to the kitchen, still soaked from the rain that poured on me while biking home. My mom was brushing the powdered sugar off her hands on her apron, and a loaf of bread was cooling on a rack next to a slightly open window. Hi, honey. How was school? My mom asked me, pushing some of the hair on my forehead back and planting a kiss on my forehead. Mom, I said, annoyed that she still did that as if I were a kid. What did you bake? I asked as she grabbed a plate and a knife to slice the bread. It's a regular loaf of bread, but I made a cinnamon swirl that I hope shows in every slice. I wanted to try it out before adding it to the menu, she said as she made a few slices, the swirl showing perfectly in each one. Moments like these were when I marveled at our home. Although outside it was dark, stormy, and pouring rain, the yellow lighting of our kitchen, the warmth and the smell of cinnamon made me close my eyes and enjoy the moment. We sat at the kitchen island with our slices of bread and drinks. I dipped my bread in hot cocoa and snickered at my mom muttering something about me ruining her masterpiece. What's wrong, honey? You look worried, she asked when I was suddenly deep in thought. Earlier that day, our history teacher told me that if I didn't ace the following tests, I was going to fail his class. It's school stuff. You wouldn't understand, I sighed. Boy, I had you when I was a...
Oh, sorry, guys.
a high school junior. You don't think I'll understand trouble at school? She chuckled at me. I explained to her that I was failing history and that my teacher wasn't lenient at all, and that I could fail the year if I did bad and struggled despite putting in extra work. Well, there's a parent-teacher meeting soon. I can go talk to him, she said, immediately making me feel better. If anyone could convince my teacher of going easy on me, it was my mom. Most persuasive person in the world. The day of the parent-teacher meeting came, and I stopped by my mom's bakery to ask her if she was still going. The familiar bell rang as I opened the door. Julie, a girl who worked for my mom, was at the cash register. Hey, Jules, I greeted her when I came in. She gave me a small wave as she handed a customer her change. Busy day? I asked. The morning had me spinning. Your mom's cinnamon swirl thing was a huge success. And now, people are getting food to bribe teachers at the school later. Where's Mom? I asked. Baking her bribe in the back, she said, turning back to count some money in the cash register. I walked past her and into the kitchen where Mom was putting a batch of cookies in the oven. Are those, I began, but they were, my favorite marshmallow brownie cookies. Mom was wearing a pair of jeans and a red blouse. I noticed she had curled her hair a bit and put on heels instead of her usual sneakers. She looked much more like a mom now than she did usually, but she looked like the kind of mom that distracts your friends. We talked in the kitchen for a while, until the oven beeped. The cookies were placed in a basket, and Mom made her way towards the school. I was watching a movie in the living room and eating popcorn when Mom finally got home. Hours had passed since the time the meeting should have ended, and I was beginning to worry. She kicked off her heels immediately, sighing in relief, and she stumbled towards the couch, plopping down next to me. She told me the meeting went well and that they went out for drinks afterwards. She asked him to help me out a bit, and he agreed, to my relief. He also told me you're pretty distracted with Adrian, she said. I know he's failing too, and I know how close you two are, so I asked Mr. Harrison to help him out too. I immediately texted my best friend to tell him the good news, and he was thrilled. At school, Mr. Harrison was suddenly nicer to me. He smiled at me in the halls, complimented me, and went easy on me when grading my tests. I also caught him smirking in my direction sometimes, but I ignored it. My best friend Adrian was also being treated better by Mr. Harrison. Mom was suddenly swatting my hand away when I reached for an extra muffin and stuff like that, saying they were for Bruce. She started properly dating Mr. Harrison. Sometimes I'd come home from Adrian's and I'd finish... all cuddled up. It upset me a lot, but I realized my father was never in the picture and Mom hadn't had a boyfriend since high school. Plus, she seemed happy, so I got over it. One night, she told me she was going on a date with Bruce, so I asked Adrian to come over for a sleepover. We played video games in the living room for hours until we popped in a movie and I fell asleep in the middle of it. I woke up around 2 in the morning and didn't see Adrian, but I noticed the kitchen light was on. I rubbed my eyes and started walking towards it, but I heard voices. It was my mom and Adrian. I started eavesdropping. "I just wanted to thank you for talking to Mr. Harrison for me," Adrian said, but in a weird way. I knew this voice he was making. It was the voice he used when he was flirting with girls. "It was no problem, Adrian. You're Jackson's best friend," my mom said, in a totally normal voice. It was clear that my best friend was flirting with my mom, but she wasn't flirting back. "But seriously, thank you," he repeated, and I could hear him moving. "And as I said," my mom began, "it's no problem at all." Now she sounded different. I recognized this too. She talked to Mr. Harrison like this. I couldn't stand it, so I peeked around the corner and into the kitchen. My mom had her back pressed against the kitchen island, and Adrian was sort of
Are you guys?
back. I thought it was gross, but I thought that if I brought it up, it would only become more real. One day, I was biking home from the store after Mom sent me to get some baking supplies, and when I came back, I found Adrian mowing the lawn, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. I was so pissed off. I was about to jump him, but then my mom came out of the house and handed him his shirt. "I spilled orange juice on it, and your mom offered to rinse it out so I wouldn't get all sticky," he explained, laughing at the image without context. Not only was Adrian always in my house with Mom, but they started baking together. And soon enough, Adrian was working at the bakery with her after school. I asked him about it, and he said it was weird, but he just replied, "I'm saving up for a new laptop, and your mom offered me the job to help me save up." I hated how he had a logical explanation for everything. Things started hanging. Mom was paying more attention to my friend than to me, and it was really getting on my nerves. Not only that, but school was starting to get bad again. We had a history test, and I was expecting the low B that was my average, but when I saw my marked test, I had a huge F. I glanced over to Adrian. He had a B. I didn't understand why I got such a low grade, so I stayed behind after class to talk to Mr. Harrison. "How did I get an F when my mom told you to help me?" I asked him before he shushed me and rushed to close the door. "Do you have any idea the trouble we'd be in if anyone found out?" he said in his exasperated manner. He answered my question by saying my mom had told him at dinner a few days ago to go harder on me again, and instead go easier on Adrian. I was so confused. Was Mom picking him over me? I was furious, so I stormed out of the classroom and grabbed my bike. I biked a few blocks until I reached my mom's bakery, where I knew she would be. I was ready to confront her about her thing with Adrian as I burst through the door, but the front of the store was empty. I figured she must be in the kitchen, so I stalked to the back and swung the door open, only to find my mom kissing my best friend. My mom gasped when she... for weeks after I caught them. I snuck out of the house before Mom woke up and came back very late, or when I knew she wasn't home. I avoided Adrian like the plague at school, not even bothering to hide him. I was trying to come up with a way to get back at them, or at least get them to stop, because as far as I knew, they were still making out when I wasn't looking. My history grade started to go up, so I guess I got that out of it, but it wasn't enough. I was packing up my stuff after history one day when Mr. Harrison asked me to stay behind because he wanted to talk. He sat on his desk, fidgeting nervously as I waited for him to just spit it out. Then he finally did. He wanted to ask my mom to marry him, but didn't know how to do it. "Is there anything she finds romantic? Something special?" He looked nervous and excited. I felt kind of bad for the guy. At that moment, I felt like a light bulb popped up above my head, and I had a plan. As soon as I got home, I started working on it. 2 days later, Mr. Harrison went to order a very special cake, my mom's favorite, on the bakery's website. When he went to the other tab to pay for it, the bakery's new logo popped up. It read, "Nothing better than a cake and a kiss with your son's best friend." Not only did my mom get dumped, but Adrian failed history, which led to him failing the year. Serves them right.
Alright, you guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoy. I know this is a longer video than usual. But, yeah. So, it's a 20-minute video. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So, I can upload another video. Bye, guys. Love you. Mwah.